I'm Cindy Tye, and I'm the head coach of Dalhousie Women's Soccer. And I also work for Canada Soccer with our youth programs. Went through Acadia University and played there. After I left Acadia, I went on to the national team for a couple years and started coaching quickly after that. Provincial teams, Canada Games, now university and youth national teams.
Being part of the national team, that is an incredible accomplishment, as well as playing at that university level. So what did that mean to you?
Like, very super proud moment for me. The first time I heard the anthem when I was on the field before we played, it meant a lot. It was probably would be the highlight of my career, that moment.
Obviously, there's a lot of young athletes that have that goal as well. So what advice would you give them?
It's a dream goal. It really is. So when you're a young athlete, you have that out there, and that's okay. You aspire to do that. I think the recognition along the way that you need to have some short-term goals, and it really all comes back to how you get up in the morning every day and do what you do. So just creating those habits.
So what was the transition like for you out of playing competitively and into whether that's coaching or teaching? How was that transition for you?
It was pretty seamless. Just because I was a player for a long time, and then when I got into coaching, and actually I took my first coaching course because I was injured as a player. Once I got into it, it was just a way for me to stay on the field and be connected in that team environment. And
what advice would you give to athletes who are making that transition?
I think you got to find out what it is that you really enjoy about being in that competitive environment. And I think it gives you a great opportunity. It opens doors because you're so structured for so long as an athlete that you can try new things.
And so what is your coaching philosophy?
I think for me, like, some of my biggest characteristics are the enthusiasm piece. So when I come to the field, that I have that energy for the players. Preparedness is important to me, obviously. Keeping a broader perspective, that they're not just an athlete, they're a person. So I try to bring those things to the field every day. And
is there any advice that you received that sticks with you today and you pass along to your players?
I had a coach for a really long time from when I was very young, and he always said, look, like, if you don't want to come, don't come. Like, this needs to be a great place for you to be and have fun. And I mean, it sounds simplistic, but 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, and you're just like, maybe I need a little break from this. And I did take a break from soccer, actually, for almost a year throughout my university. And that was a big help for me.
What has been some of the biggest learning lessons in your coaching career?
Just to keep learning, keep that open mind, and you have to keep transitioning through the times. And I have core values that I stick with, but I think for me, just being able to adjust and shift and be flexible is those are sometimes they're hard times. Just making sure that you don't get too isolated, I think, is really important. That you don't know everything, you don't have all the answers, and it's okay to reach out to other coaches and bounce things off people and talk to your athletes as well.
When you are recruiting, what are you looking for in your players?
Coming to Dalhousie, and I'm sure like all schools would say, like, they need to be a really solid student. The next part would be the character piece. So I check in with their coaches or their teachers and meet with their parents as well. But as a player, like on the field, one of the first things we look for is, athleticism. We'll catch a coach's eye, technical ability, decision-making, tactically. Sometimes it depends on the position too.
So what's the best advice that you could give as a coach to athletes? Because a lot of them, this is the goal for them. They want to play soccer or any sport in university. So what advice could you give them to help prepare them for this journey?
I know it's daunting for them. Sometimes I feel these kids now, sometimes under a lot of pressure to find the right fit. And then there's so many schools and places. So they need to do their homework and, where do I want to live? What program do I want to take? And then they can start looking at soccer programs after that.
As a coach, what is your expectation of your players?
I love players, and in our program, we love players that love to come to the field every day. So our expectation is they show up every day ready to go and bring that energy. What energy are they bringing with them to be part of a team? We tell our kids that's a privilege, really. Like, you're in an opportunity, you have an opportunity in front of you that's not afforded to a lot of people. So you need to take full advantage of that.